I'm sure you guys are from different backgrounds, have different skill set level, but at least I want everyone to go away feeling like they are empowered to at least attempt to build their own AI agent, whether it's for like a personal project or personal reason, or even a business case scenario at your workplace or your own startup. So that is my goal for today's session. And so I'm gonna share my screen and we'll dive right into it. So yes, today's topic is about AI agents, basically from idea to, to action. So what is AI agent? Well, before I dive into that, firstly, let's start with a problem statement. Can you give me a second? Let me just reshare my screen. Mhm. Okay. I hope I'm not blocking the screen too much. I just wanted you to see my face while I'm talking about this. So so imagine that you are managing a team or you're part of a team and your manager tells you to, you know, research on recent news in your industry. You need to filter for what's relevant to your business and then like summarize all of that and share it with stakeholders, including himself on email, on Slack, and all of that. How much time do you think it will take you to do all of this every day? You can type your answers in the chat. Let me see if I can access the chat. If I can't, then um, or if you want to, you can just unmute and say what you want to say. Um, okay, that's fine. I can't find the chat, but basically it's gonna take you a couple of hours in a day to do this, right? So what if you could develop like a system, an AI
Okay, can I
system?
speak?
Yes, yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. My name is Alex. So
Okay.
my team currently does daily press tracker where we pick news items about our company and then competition. Then we share this information with different stakeholders.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
that
Yeah,
and we
that's
spend almost 2 hours every morning doing that. So
oh
yeah, that
wow.
that can be discussed with that.
Yeah, what a coincidence, right? That I said that and someone in the chat is actually, as in the call is actually um facing a similar problem. Can you please mute after you are done speaking so that other people can hear me and this call will be productive. Thank you so much. So yes, so what if you could like set up an AI agent that could do this for you while you're asleep, like, and you have to spend like zero amount of time doing this every day? Won't that be so efficient and cool? So let's explore what AI agents are and how they differ from chatbot versus like an automation system. So a chatbot is a simple, interface. Just like ChatGPT, if you guys know what ChatGPT is, it's a simple interface where you just ask a question and then get a response. So it's like it doesn't have any initiative. It doesn't you can't tell it to build things for you or to complete things for you and stuff like that. Now, we also have automation where there's a trigger, there's a fixed sequence of actions, and then after that it ends. Like there's no reasoning, there's no like, okay, if this happens, or there's no reasoning that tells the the automation to make different decisions based on like different um happenings or different situations, right? Even though you can use if and else conditions, it's not as dynamic and as flexible. So what is an AI agent then? So an AI agent has this sequence where it has a goal, it can reason like a way a human being can reason and make decisions on the spot without any intervention, direct interventions, right? It can take dynamic actions based on like the tools you give it. And then it also has memory to remember things you told it or to remember things you told it to store down to make like further decisions in the future, right? So these are real world examples. We have like a customer support agent, so it can like on its own, it can like monitor tickets 24/7. It can pull customer history from the memory or the context you give it, and it can draft personalized responses, which are like not even the same every day, right? Because it's dynamic. And, it can also escalate complex issues to humans. We also have a research agent, which is something similar to what we talked about earlier on. It can like scan different news sources or academic papers, extract and summarize findings, and then also update knowledge base or send you like notifications. We have so many examples like a sales agent which can like identify leads, potential leads, schedule meetings for you, like quick personalized outreach. There's so many examples. There's even like a whole social media agent where it can like dynamically create content for you to post on your platforms. It's it gets endless and it also gets more complicated. Like there's so many examples. So I'm going to talk about the four components of an AI agent. So we have the goal, the reasoning, the memory, and then the tools, right? So component one is the goal. Like what are you trying to achieve when you're trying to build this AI agent? What do you want this AI agent to be able to do? Simply put. So for these few topics, we have like brand monitoring. So for example, a goal for brand monitoring could be to monitor for Twitter, like Twitter to see if like people are talking about your brand and then what are they saying about it. And you can like make the AI agent respond to the tweets within like an hour if there's a complaint, or even you can analyze the sentiment. Are people happy about your brand? And get like your real-time responses with how people are interacting with your company or your brand. There's research assistant, which is just like find and summarize, AI research papers. And there's also market intelligence, like, tracking competitor prices to see like what is what are the prices out there and how they compare to my own prices, right? So yeah, so defining your objective kind of helps you to know the end goal of what your AI agent should be able to do, and it sets you up for success. So I'm going to go to the second component, which is the reasoning. That's like the brain of the agent. So it can analyze, situations. This is the most, I think, the most um like life-changing part of the AI agent, where it's able to like think on its own or independently and choose the best path forward and decide is this requiring me to act to make an action, or is it you know asking me to wait until a certain time to make an action. So I'm going to go on to the third component, which is the tools. So AI agents can take on tools, which is like the agent's hands, like what it can actually do, right? And there are so many tools that you can connect to your AI agent. We have, APIs, weather news, social media, we have databases, we have Google, Drive, Sheets, and so on. We also can connect to communication platforms like email, Slack, like you name it, any communication platform that enables you to connect to it. Through an API call or any other means you can connect. You can also use it to scrape. information from websites automatically. You can also connect file systems to read from files, to manage documents, to write. Like the list is endless, basically. It's like you can orchestrate a whole system with, an AI agent. And the more tools this agent has access to, the more capable, just like a human being, the more tools we have access to and we know how to use, the more competent and capable we are to solve like different problems in our environment. We also have the fourth component, which is memory. Memory is like how it stores things and is able to remember um previous context in order to make future decisions. We have like short-term memory, and then we also have long-term memory. Short-term memory is just for like ongoing operations and immediate decisions, while long-term memory is like having, historical knowledge to remember and to make more intelligent decisions in the future. For example, like an email agent remembers that, okay, well, I've contacted um these clients this week, so I probably shouldn't send them an email so suddenly so that it comes out as spam. Maybe I should wait for a week or two before sending another email to the clients, right? So this is very helpful having that memory available. Okay, so what is the process of building an AI agent, right? So it's kind of similar to what we talked about. Like you define the goal and then you map the workflow. Like what would a human take to build such a workflow? Right? And then you identify the tools that you need, like what API or data sources or communication platforms you need to connect to. And then what is the reasoning that the AI agent would need to do? What decisions need to be made like independently? And and what do I need to store? That is the memory. Like what short memory needs to be access and what long-term storage needs to be accessed as well. And then, you test it. After building the system, you test it and you keep iterating until you get the desired outcomes that you're looking for. So, what are some of the current challenges that occur with, agent engineering? One is reliability. Like if I set up the system and then there was this particular very specific use case that I couldn't test, how does it handle the errors and recover from like such failures without human intervention? So that is one area that we're still looking at. Now, context management. I don't know if you guys know what context is, but like um AI models work with like a given context of window, which is like the amount of text it can take at a time, right? So in that case, like there's so much information that you can give the AI model, and how do you manage that window of information you can give? And then the more there are different there are different sizes of AI models and kinds, and the more token window these models have, they're probably more expensive they would be. So you need to think about cost, and cost, which is the third point, also falls into like API calls and things like that. Like, data is, gold mine now. Data is expensive. API calls are all about data. So the more quality or even the bigger the data you want, the more you're gonna pay for it. So, you know, and how, efficient is it going to be to rely on these API calls as compared to doing it manually? Is it gonna be worth it financially? Like you need to think about all of these things, right? And safety too, in this new world of AI, it's booming and it's exciting, but there's also the risk of, bad actors taking advantage of it and using it in a way that doesn't serve humanity. So we also need to think about like ways to protect ourselves and to protect the systems we are building. If you connect your personal email to an AI agent and then a hacker is able to access this AI agent, that means like all your, your receipts, everything that you've ever done in your personal email can be accessed by this AI agent. And that could be dangerous. Like, what if you have financial information there, you know? And one more thing is about evaluation. Like, what is the standard process to determine what the metrics are in testing this kind of new system, right? Because it's all new, like, and it's dynamic. How do you prevent hallucinations from happening, to keep it in check? And how do you even, what are the processes in monitoring performance? So these are all areas of improvement in agent engineering. So I'm going to talk about some tools for building AI agents. We have low code or no code tools, right? For example, N8N, which I'll be showing you today, it's more visual, and it brings together like a whole flow of tools to or of a workflow to get like your desired outputs. We also have one called Zapier, which is quite popular. It's an automation tool, but you can also include like AI agents in there. And we also have one called Make. The advantages of the no code or low code tools is that it's easy for beginners and also like rapid prototyping, and also like business people who are not too tech savvy and would rather just develop, as fast as possible without having to go down a very steep learning curve. We also have coding frameworks, which is like what developers go for because it gives you a lot of control. It's very flexible, and you're not limited by the no code or low code tools capabilities. We have some called LangChain, AutoGP, Crew AI, and then the third one is cloud platforms. Um, we have which is basically really about the existing like commercial um APIs for accessing AI models like OpenAI, Claude. They have everything set up, already. You just need to make the API calls, get the API key, etc., etc. So actually, we're gonna build one, but because of time, I already started the process of building this agent. So I'm gonna walk you through how I did it and how I built it. And if it's possible, maybe even share it with you to play around with it. And then also maybe try building your own in the future, right? So I built this AI news digest research agent. And what it does is, at a certain point of time in the day, it pulls news about AI from different AI news sources. It's able to go through everything and summarize the data using an AI model. And then after that, it generates an image based on this summarization. Then I'm able to send it to myself as an AI news digest every 8 a.m. in the morning. And then after that, there's a chatbot to also ask questions about this data, which I stored in the memory, basically in a Google Sheet somewhere, where you can like have access to this data and ask questions to get to know more about like the AI news and what is happening out there. So I'm gonna take us to that platform. But firstly, let me introduce you to the the platform that I use. So this platform is called N8N, and no, they are not sponsoring me or anything, but then I'm just promoting them for goodwill. It's called N8N. It's a no code or low code platform. I actually got to know about it at work. And so this platform helps you to develop different AI agents. and it allows you to connect like a lot of tools. You can see you can connect Slack, Jira. You can, allow the user to authenticate with their Microsoft credentials. And so many companies use it, so many integrations are available to work with. Um, so one more thing is that you can either have it available on their platform or even host it yourself um on using like Docker, right? So let me click on this. There's a way to install it using Docker and then host it yourself. And that way you incur no cost. Or they also have their cloud version, which is free, which they have their free trial. And then after that you pay a little fee. They have different pricing ranges. So depending on like your use case, if you just want to try it out, or you can just use a free trial to try it out. Or you can also just download the self-hosted version. It will show you how to do that if you just go here and click on self-host. So yeah, this is the tool I use to build the AI automation tool, right? So let me take you to this AI automation tool. So this is what I basically built. I know it looks a lot, but I'm gonna explain it step by step so that you understand what is happening here. But basically this is the workspace where like you can do all your experimentation here. So we have the editor, right? And this is where you see all the workflow, the nodes, these are called nodes connecting to each other, going through a process to get a desired output. And this is called a trigger, right? So this is how you set up a trigger. And then this is called daily 8 a.m. trigger because I've set it up to trigger every 8 a.m. In the morning. So this is the editor view. So now we have the executions view, which shows you like all the executions you did, all the iterations you did, all the errors you got, the successes, so you can see the flow and how you developed it up to this point. And we also have the evaluation section where you can see like writing like a test data set to evaluate that your if let's say you have different inputs for your workflow or for your AI agents, you can have different data sets to test to see did you get the desired outputs you want? Just like the way we write tests in like normal code, with different inputs to test different use cases. You can do that here too. So that's amazing. You can share your work. You can also make it active. Once you make it active, this is gonna be running, this is gonna be running all the time. So that's how it works. So let me open this. So if you wanna create a node or a trigger, all you have to do is to go to this side, add, and then you see all the options here. Whenever you want to add a new if you want to add an AI chat, if you want to do an action, a flow, there's so many. Then once you click on it, you can see all the options, so many things to connect to, and you can read about them and connect to them. There are databases you can connect to, there are API calls you can make. You can even make the data transformations to your data if you want to, without ever having to write code in any way. Or if you're tech savvy or you're a developer and you also want to write code, you can easily just there's a little bit of JavaScript here to do some data transformation or data like converting the data into a format that I want, right? So yeah, so that is how, or you can also, if you can also just click add here and it will take you to the same place and it will connect it directly with the next node. So I'm going to take you through this first flow. What is this flow doing, right? So firstly, this is Um, this is called a trigger, right? And then this is trigger interval. So it's saying how often do you want this trigger to happen? And then so I'm saying in days, and then how many days between the trigger, and I wrote one here. So I'm saying it should happen every 8 a.m. In 0 minutes, right? So that means 8 a.m. on the dot. So you can also click on execute step just to see that this particular node is working as desired. So when it's done, it would say node executed successfully. I think I don't, okay, it went away. I think I blocked it, but it said node executed successfully. And then after you can go back to your board. So the next thing I did over here was to set up a configuration, right? So I basically created this where I set up some variables, right? So like the feed where I'm getting the the news from. So over here we have artificialintelligencenews.com. It's an actual website where you can get like news from there, right? And then this was the email I put there where I would like to receive the updates. You can add more emails. You can add so many things. You can even maybe put in um a database or Google Sheet of different emails you like to send this update to, or even like a Slack channel or a Slack message that you like to send these emails to, right? So so that's how this works. So um this is basically just setting up the feed to get the output. So as you can see over here, I put the URL here to get the feed. And then once I get the feed, I then combine these into let me run the flow once so that everything okay. So when I come over here, you can see that these are the inputs or the things I sent to get the feed. And then when you look over here, you can see that the feed came in um, different news sources came in from the API call that we made, right? So over here is where I did some combining of the news sources just to combine all the news sources I got from, the two news sources I I called. And then over here is a little bit of JavaScript code. I mean, you don't have to understand everything that's happening, but basically it's just formatting the everything, making sure that the stories are unique, and then after that, getting the top 5 stories based on based on the time that so the top 5 stories based on the most recent, right? And then after that, I give it to an AI bot to summarize. And when I click on this, you'd see that there's a system message, like a system prompt saying you are an AI news summarization assistant. I set everything up. I've given it the stories from the previous node, right? So it's getting all the top 5 stories here, and then over here is where I give it the stories and then also give the system message to process these stories and give it to me in a format of story title, summary, and link. And as you can see here, prompt engineering is also very important because that is where you get to specify what this bot should do or shouldn't add to your results, right? So you can see output over here. Um, Give me a second. So you can see the output over here where it's able to summarize everything and give us a top um summaries for each of these stories. So now that we have this, we prepare the data for storing in Google Sheets, right? So this is basically going through everything and arranging it in a nice format so that it will look nice when we store it in Google Sheets from this to this, right? And then after that, I connected to Google Sheets over here, my personal account. So it will allow you to connect to your account. So if you're new here, you just have to go to create new credential, sign in with Google, and then you just click confirm I'm signing in, and then it would connect to your Google Sheets. So after that, I created a sheet called AI News Stories. I'm going to show it to you soon. I think I think I missed. Okay, it's over here, AI News Stories. And I chose the first sheet. And then I I created columns in the sheet, title, summary, link, and then I put these as the how do you put it? So I mapped the columns to each of um the JSON input names so that this title in the Excel sheet would store the title over here. And I did it for each of the columns, right? So in this case, whenever I make a call, it's gonna run through everything and store the results in Google Sheets. Now, I also forgot to mention, actually, I had to connect my API, my OpenAI API key to the news agent for it to work. So basically, so I think it was over here. So I connected my own OpenAI account. So whenever you want to do that, you just put your API key here and click on save, and then it's gonna connect to your OpenAI API key. Or if you want to use Claude or any other AI model available there. Okay. So this is one of the process it did where it stored the changes in Google Sheets, but there's also another process where it can go through and this is where it generates the AI image, right? Using the same OpenAI account. And I also gave it a prompt, create a professional modern image representation today, given the AI's highlights. So what I did was I gave it the highlights from the AI, the summary that the AI generates, and I'm saying that it should generate an image. So we'll see it in the email as well as an attachment. So the next step was I prepared the email data, which is basically getting, you know, the format for the email because I added some templates to make it look more stylish. And yeah, this is what I did. And it allows you to just see I'll show you the email soon where you see like how formatted it is. And then yeah, this is the subject and then this is the body as well. And yeah, so this is where I send the email. I just connected my Gmail account to be able to send the email from my Gmail account. You can add two subjects if you want to CC or like copy other people. There's an option to do that. You can add a sender name. You can send replies to someone. There's so many, options over here to do. And this is the data. So this data is actually from the image, um, right? So it's saying attachments. So I've attached the image to this so that whenever I send in the email, it's also send this image, right? So yeah, this is the flow of this is basically the flow. And I ran it once. So let's see if it actually worked, right? So I'm gonna go to my email and let's see. So yeah, it came through. So we got we got the daily digest. So we can see that it ran successfully. and it gives us about five summaries with the image attached over here. I mean, yeah, the image could be better. Maybe we could change it and use like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Nano Banana. It's a Nano Banana from Google. Like I think they generate better images. So maybe we could like an improvement could be to change the image model generator to that, right? And then get an image and maybe also to put it like on the forefront. That could be an improvement as well. Like to put it over here instead of it being just an attachment. So yeah, basically you can and then you can see the articles. You can also click on read full article and it takes you to the page and then you can view the content and read more about it. But this gives you a summary so that you don't have to um go there yourself just to view like what's happening in the AI, world. So yeah, this is basically how it works. Now, one more part I would like to show you is the chat bot. So this chat it reads the news from the sheets, right? And then it formats. So let me show you what it does over there. So it also goes to the same Google Sheets account that I connected to. And then this time around, the operation changes. It rather gets roles, but then which is reading the roles in the Google Sheet. So let me show you what the other one looks like. So with this one, you would see that the operation was to append or update row. We have other options. You can clear everything. You can create a new sheet. You can delete the sheet. There's so many options of what you can do. You can even, like update or append a row and then delete everything else that was existent in the sheet, right? So there are many options here. And but this one is to read from the Google Sheet, right? So once you read, you can then get a range as well. So I'm getting the first 100 um rows from the database so that the system is not too overwhelmed. And we only want the latest news anyway. So we after this we format it and then we ask that we give it to an agent to be able to have like a conversation. So I can open the chat and then also test it out. Um, you know, I can reset this and say what's what's latest. Let's say what's latest in AI. And then it will give me a response. So basically what it's doing is it's getting the news updates from the file and then it's giving me some of the latest news in AI. So it's saying, teens founded 6 million to reinvest pesticide using AI. So you can even ask it a question like, OpenAI pilots group chats and ChatGPT across select countries. Maybe tell me more about OpenAI's country group study, right? And then you can go through everything and then give you like a short summary of, you know, of what, yeah. So you see, it gave us a summary of everything. And then it also says for more details, see the actual link. So that's how it works. You can configure this to make it publicly available for other people to access. I didn't do that yet, but then there's a way to set that up and it's available in the documentation as well. So this is a project that maybe for the guy who said that you spend like a lot of time, you could maybe pitch this to your team members and see if you're interested in saving 2 hours of their day. Um, so yeah, that is a summary of everything. And let me show you the Excel sheet as well. to see. So this is the Excel sheet where everything is being stored over here. So you can see that all the news are being stored with the publication dates and all of that. So over here, I just saw a bug where, if it's taking the first 100 and then it's populating, it's adding everything at the bottom, then we're only gonna get like the latest. So maybe one fix could be to either make it arrange itself from latest to earliest by date, or take the last 100. So those are some of the, things we can, minor fixes we can make in like improving the board. But basically, yeah, this is a little a project where you can actually use like tools like this to make, agents and make your life better, basically. So let me go back to the slides. Okay, so what are the key takeaways basically from this project? So basically, one thing is AI agents take action, right? So unlike the traditional AI where you just have a conversation with it, it's able to listen to what you're saying and like be more diverse and actually make or execute tasks on your behalf and interact with the real world with your existing, with your existing environment. And the more tools you give it, like you saw, it had Google Sheets, it had access to an image generation tool, So the more tools you give it, the more like capabilities and the more things you can arrange and set up with this, new technology. And the memory also helps it to drive intelligence. You see how, having everything in the Google Sheet made it look like it was smart enough to know like what the recent news was and to give us an update on it and even to provide the link to it. And how was that all possible? It was through storing the information somewhere where it could access it later on, right? So yeah, what is my challenge to you? I would say, don't leave here and pretend like you never came to this event, right? You should go out there, see what are some of the challenges in your life, or what bugs you when you wake up in the morning. Can you try to, automate it using tools like this? Like you could just do it for fun, or do it with like meet up with friends and set this up and try it out and connect to two tools. It doesn't even have to be as complicated as what I did today. It can be very simple and make it remember something as well and make a decision at a certain point and reason and decide to make a decision on your behalf. And really, the best way to learn is by building, and it's like by putting yourself out there. So I encourage you to take on this challenge. And yeah, here are some resources you can use. N8N has a wonderful documentation. LangChain docs are there. OpenAI cookbooks is also there. And also Claude or Anthropic is also big where you can learn more about things like concepts like model context protocol and other things related to AI agents or agentic AI and communities like you guys being here today. The Gain Network is a great community where you can like meet like-minded people. Twitter communities, LinkedIn, Discord, all interesting places. And also YouTube. Honestly, there are so many tutorials on YouTube where you can just follow through. But I'll ask you to also try building things on your own as well because it helps you to think outside the box and not just like just blindly follow a tutorial because that's not where the real learning happens. It's when you take a problem and you use existing tools to solve it and you encounter challenges and then you build from there. And keep learning, keep experimenting with different architectures and trying different iterations, sharing what you build with other people out there building a community around what you build. And yeah, and keep it exciting, keep it engaging, and that is my advice for you. So, yeah, thank you so much for sticking around and listening to everything that I said and me showing you the demo of the application. And there's so many things I could have covered, but then due to time, I can't cover everything. So I would urge you to go out there and explore more your own. This is just an introduction to AI agents. And there's so many things you can do, so many integrations you can make, like making this public, making this available to your team and to people around you. So yeah, so we can open up the floor for questions or discussions, and thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you so much, Florence, for that insightful presentation. We will now move into the Q&A segment. If you have questions, okay, I think we already have a hand raised. Elom, can you
Yeah,
go
hello.
ahead with your question?
Sure. Good afternoon. Please, I'm Elomi Onyako. I
Okay.
came in very late.
Okay.
But then I'm intrigued. I would like to know if the recorded link can be shared. I mean, the whole session.
Sure, definitely, definitely. Everything will be made available to you.
But I connected via a friend status. I saw it on a friend. I don't know how I can get access to it.
Okay, so I'll encourage you to connect with us on LinkedIn, and everything will be made available on there.
Please, what's the
I
what's it
have put the link, so
where,
kindly
please?
look at the chat.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so that was Elom. All right, Adobia Essien. We are ready for your contribution or your question, Adobia. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, can we hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Hello.
can.
Okay. So I'm currently building agentic AI, a couple of agents around the project, right? I thought the presentation is also going to cover one's using. I had a lot of questions around that. I don't know if I could connect with you so that I could ask those questions.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. My LinkedIn
Okay.
is Florence Ofori. Um, so you can connect with me and just add that in the connection message so that I know.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hello.
All right. Yes, Mark, we are ready for you.
Yes, hello. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, so my name is Mark Lawson, currently doing PhD. And I've been working on some research currently, especially on using AI and trying to even build my own agent. And
Okay.
uh, I mean, when I came into the meeting, I was coming with a lot of, let's say, questions I wanted to ask. But as you mentioned, maybe we can reach out to you on LinkedIn. Because, for example, using the N8N, I wanted you to just also share maybe when you are going to include OpenAI, the token, I would say, you
Oh, the
probably have to pay for
2%.
some of them are free. So
Yeah.
people can know,
Okay.
like, yeah, like the person who would be using it for the news research, maybe he can understand that also and know how to factor it in discussion with let's say management that this will cost this amount and that. And also
Okay.
uh, about having, let's say, building your own AI agent like locally. It's not connected to the internet. You train it on your own type of data and all that. I mean, sorry if it's going too far. Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
that's fine.
yeah, that was Very,
So,
very
so
good
basically,
presentation.
do,
Thank
do
you.
you mean like building your, like having your own AI model locally? Is that what you're talking
Yes,
about? Oh, yeah,
yes.
that also comes with its own, the pros and cons of that, right? Like,
Mhm.
host, like, because when you're done, let's say you fine-tuned it or something like that, or you like, how do you then, make it publicly available? You have to host it on maybe a cloud platform, a virtual machine, or like a, or yeah, server, virtual server, all, or even on premise. So you have to think about all of that and making it, yeah. So that's the pros, like that's
The
the
pro and the
difference
con.
between, but the commercial models are also more expensive, or it depends. Like sometimes the cost accrues across time, because like if you're thinking about doing it on premise, then you also have to think about all the costs involved in maintenance. How safe really is your model, right? Do you have a
Yeah.
backup, and all of that. So there are different things you need to think about. I feel like that is a whole other presentation on its own.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes, you're right.
you can link up with me. We can like talk about it, and that'll be an
All
interesting
right.
conversation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'll hit you up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. So before we move on to Moses, I would like to state that if you have a question but can't speak due to where you are at the moment, you can put your question in the chat and then I'll read it out for Florence. So Moses, if you are ready, we are ready for you.
Okay, thank
Moses
you very much.
Ajay,
I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
loud and clear.
So I teach A-level accounting, which is Cambridge program. Now, I want
Okay.
to know how can I use this one to ensure that my students that I teach A-level accounting can use this system to study on their own and then get the best grade.
So your question is, how can they use this system to study on their own and get the best grade? I think I have heard of, some tools that actually help students study. Um, One of them is, well, since my browser is open, maybe I can just search. I think there's this system called Notebook LM, which is really good for like putting in documents and just like asking, um yeah, Notebook LM. So basically you can like upload your resources and then just ask questions. I get like instant insights with questions. It can even generate like mind maps for you. It can generate like a podcast on the the lesson, and then you just listen to it and like get insights. I feel like this will be good for your um power study. It really helps you to explain like complex concepts to you, and it's for free. Actually, you just need a Google account because it's made by Google. So yeah, it's great. And there are also different platforms for also creating like flashcards. I don't know if Claude AI has that yet, but I know a couple of platforms have like flashcards that can help students, put in their resource and learning, and then get like flashcards to help them study and then improve their grades. So these are some of the ways or things you can introduce to your students to help them, improve their learning, and also, you know, bring in AI while learning new things. So yeah, these are some of the things I think will be helpful.
Okay, Florence, we have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Reginald wants to find out if the code-based tools like Longchain are free.
Yes, actually, I think it's open source. And let me see, it's LangChain open source. Yeah, I think it is. Yes, it's an open source framework, so it's free to use, and you don't have to worry about having to pay for LangChain to you just have to import it and then, start using the library, basically, or the package here.
Okay. Mark, do you have another question? Or it's an old hand?
Sorry, it's an old hand. Let me lower.
Florence, I also have a question for you. During your presentation, you mentioned that you used Google Sheets
Okay,
for
yeah.
memory. Find out if I could have used any other database, for instance, SQL or any one of those for
Yes.
memory.
Yeah,
And
that's
what
sweet.
would be the using
Sorry.
those ones and the Google Sheets?
So yes, you could have used any other available database. You just have to set up the database and then connect to it. It's as simple as that. I used the Google Sheets because I felt like Google Sheets is very accessible to everyone around here. Maybe not everyone knows how to set up a SQL database, so but almost everyone will probably know how to open up and like create a Google Sheet. But if you have a database and you're tech savvy and you know how to use it, you can definitely set it up, and probably the only thing you have to do is come here and maybe type even SQL. You see, these are options where you can like connect to it and click on it and says insert rows in a database, update rows, so you can definitely work with database. I'm sure there's even other ones like Firebase. Okay. Yeah, but I'm sure there are other ones like different databases basically where you can like connect to and store the data there if you want to. So there's so many integrations you can make on this platform. It's very versatile if you don't want to go with the coding route.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Shadrach wants to find out if the nodes are defined partly before updating.
So I don't know if I understand your question, but are you trying to ask if the nodes are like, yeah, they're partly set up for you, and then you just fill in the empty fields. So if you click on this and you say you want, let's say, um, what is this? An action. I'm just gonna click on any of them. Let's say AWS S3, right? And let's say you want to create a bucket. So it opens up for you like this, and then you just have to put your credentials there. What do you want to do? You want to create a bucket, okay? And then the name of the bucket and things like that. So this is basically like a storage on AWS if people don't know what S3 is. But um yeah, so this is what it looks like basically when you're creating a node. And then after that, you can execute it and then go back to the canvas and then it's right there. You see it added up to. And then you can continue building and building and building. And whatever inputs came from this will be sent to the next node. Yeah.
Okay, do we have any more questions? Okay, so in the absence of further questions, I would like to thank you so much, Florence, for making time to join us for today's meeting. And I also want to thank all of us for our active participation today. We really appreciate the insights and commitment each of you has brought to the discussion. Please feel free to reach out if you have additional questions. And do not forget to connect with us on LinkedIn by searching for GAIN, GAIN. So our meeting will end here. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you once again.
Thank you too.